Fanatics, and welcome to another What's Up Doc. Today I'm doing my top 5 Stephen King movies. Now what's really cool is I'm doing something a little bit different with these What's Up Docs. I actually put a poll on Twitter and a poll on Instagram and asked everybody, you know, what would you rather see? And I gave you guys 3 options and everybody picked my top 5 Stephen King movies. I think that's what I'm gonna do from now on with the What's Up Docs. I'm gonna put 3 topic ideas up on Twitter and Instagram and you guys vote. That way it's stuff that you guys wanna know or hear, or you know, hear my opinion on, anything like that. If you guys have any suggestions for future What's Up Docs, let me know. I'll write them down. You'll see them in future polls and things like that. We're gonna have some fun with it. I wanna try to get you guys to interact more with me, and I think that would be a fun way to do it. So I'm gonna count down my top 5 Stephen King movies, and as you guys know, Stephen King is my favorite author. I've read a few of his books. His books are phenomenal. His movies are just as good. I really like everything he's ever put out. So this was a very hard list for me to put together, because to narrow it down to just 5 movies was really hard. I actually had to sit around and think about this for a day or two. It's impossible for me. This is one of the hardest lists I ever had to do. So I hope you guys are shocked by these answers. I hope I throw some of you guys off a little bit. And also too, I want to know, guys, real quick before I get into the list, what is your favorite Stephen King book or movie, or both? You can tell me both, because I know some people read a lot in the community as well. So let me know your favorite book and or movie. So since it was really hard for me to narrow it down to 5, I do have 2 honorable mentions that I want to mention really quick. First up, we have Pet Sematary, and the reason behind this honorable mention is because, a fun fact for you guys, I am a huge animal fanatic. I love animals. I worked on a farm for many years. I've ridden horses. Yes, this fat ass has been on a horse a few times, more than a few times actually. And the story has always just intrigued me very much, and I remember watching this all the time, and still to this day I get freaked out. Church the cat, the whole scene with Church, and then Gage. If you've never seen Pet Stormy, I don't want to talk about the scene with Gage on the highway. You guys know what I'm talking about. It hits me in a spot that, I don't know, it almost makes me cringe. And I've seen this movie millions of times. Love this movie, so that's my first honorable mention. And my second honorable mention is the movie that I've seen the most out of all the Stephen King movies, and this one almost made the list, but something pushed it out, and that is Carrie. And I love this movie so much. I've watched this movie millions of times. Even, I actually will admit, when the remake came out, I actually got a little bit excited too, and which is weird because I'm not into the reboots, remakes, but the remake itself is not bad. But this movie has always intrigued me very much. Sissy Spacek is phenomenal. The way she acts, there are parts in this movie that almost looks like she's looking into your soul. Like, it freaks me out. I love the mystery behind this movie, and if you've never seen this movie, there's a mystery side to it. And I think you guys kind of know what I mean. We'll just say Carrie's special ability. Like, you don't know how that special ability comes about, and there's a mystery, there's a lot of theories. I have some theories on it, and it makes the movie that much more to kind of give you that what-if factor. And John Travolta's great in it as well, playing a bad guy. He's young. It's just an all-around great movie that I love to watch. I can watch it any time of the year, and I try to watch it around Halloween as well. Now, number 5 is a movie that every time I watch it, I think of my friends, and that movie is Stand By Me. Now, what's really interesting about this movie is a lot of people don't know that this is a Stephen King movie. This movie actually is based off of the novel The Body from Stephen King. And I've never read it. I've heard it's really good. It's one that I have not been able to find or pick up lately. I could probably get it at Barnes & Noble's. Just, you know me, I'm cheap. I don't want to pay the full price. But anyway, this movie really reminds me of me and my friends. Back when I was younger, me and my friends would go camping a lot. We love to fish. We love to just hang out in the woods in general. We'd love to just be in the outdoors. And actually, one of my best friends, his grandma had woods behind her house. We would literally go out there on weekends. We'd bring hot dogs, hamburgers, and we'd sleep under the stars. We'd fish. We'd, you know, start fires, and we would cook on the fire all night, and that's all we would do. And we would talk, and we would go on adventures. Like, we would just hit trails. If we got lost, we didn't care. That's what we did. And this movie really reminds me of it. If you guys haven't seen this movie, it's about these 4 friends here go search for a missing teenager's body. And they go on this really crazy adventure. And some people say that this movie at times is dry, and it is, but it has a lot to it. It's a very powerful movie. It shows, to me, what I get from it is that there's how powerful friendship is. And that's why I really like this movie, because I had 3 great friends that we always hung out. We did everything together. And it really reminds me of me and my friends, and I just really like this movie a lot. If you guys have never seen Stand By Me, you guys definitely have to check this one out. If you've seen it, what do you guys think of it? Number 4, I've seen a lot of people talk about this movie. A lot of you guys have this movie, and that is The Shining. Now guys, this movie still to this day creeps me the hell out. I remember being pretty young watching this. As you guys know, I was introduced to horror at a very young age, and this was one of the movies up there too that I watched a lot. And I don't know what it is about it, but first off, Jack Nicholson's performance is the best performance ever. I don't think anything can ever top how he is as Jack Torrance in this movie ever. And then Danny, the boy, is just creepy as all hell. Like, creepy kids, man, they really get me. But I think the thing that I love most about this movie is how it's shot with the long hallways. And I can remember being a kid and being scared that something was gonna jump out of a hallway, because you're behind Danny on his big wheel and you just see him cruising down the hallway. And the hotel is just gorgeous, the way it's shot, you get all those great angles. And it's a slow burn, but something about it is worth it. It's a longer movie, but it doesn't feel like it. I can remember being young, and I never had patience with movies when I was young, and it never felt that long to me. I mean, nothing beats it when Jack Nicholson loses it and goes after his family. There's nothing like it. That whole scene still to this day makes my heart race. This movie is a classic. I don't know too many movies that can still really kind of get me on the edge of my seat the whole time, because it still does it no matter how many times I watch it. So that is The Shining. Number 3 is a movie that still hands down creeps me out, and I can't answer this, you guys. I don't know why. I remember watching this movie and being not only scared but fascinated by it, and that is Christine. I've never been a car guy, so I know a lot of people love this movie because they're cars. I'm not a car guy. I don't really know much about cars, but one thing I will say, that Christine is a beautiful 58 Plymouth. I mean, she is a gorgeous car. But everything about this movie, because I can remember being young and watching like The Exorcist a lot when I was younger. You guys know that was one of my first horror movies I ever watched. And seeing a lot of possession movies where a person was possessed, where in this one, the car, an inanimate object, is possessed. And the way that the car is basically alive is just so cool. I don't know, it's so cool. And I always talk about this scene. My favorite scene is when the robbers come in, dent her up really bad, beat her to hell, and she comes right back to life. And the scene on how they show how her coming back is just fascinating. Keith Gordon plays Arnie Cunningham, and he is absolutely fantastic in this movie as well. He's the one who falls in love with Christine, and he doesn't really let anybody drive her, go near or touch her. He basically, it is freaky. He falls in love with his car, literally. It's such a unique, fun experience. I don't know, it's something that I just remember seeing. This was one of the very first movies that I ever seen that where an inanimate object was possessed and killing people. It's one of the coolest movies I've ever seen. Now you guys know I don't double dip very often with movies, but this movie I have actually triple dipped with. I have every version of it that's ever been out. This movie means so much to me. It's changed me. It's opened my eyes to horror in general. And if you guys don't know what movie I'm talking about, you should by at this point, and that is it. I absolutely love this movie. This movie has completely opened my eyes to the horror world. This and The Exorcist. This is my favorite Stephen King horror movie. Horror. There's actually another movie that surpassed this, and I want to know if you guys were actually shocked by that. First off, Tim Curry as Pennywise. Stand-up performance. Everybody, I love Pennywise. I don't know what it is about him. He's the reason why I hate clowns. I think clowns are so cool, yet so creepy at the same time, and that's because of Tim Curry. This movie has given me nightmares. Every time I rewatch it, I can't help but smile, get scared, and laugh in it, because it has all of that. And it's such a cool concept. It's about a clown that comes to a small town in Derry and abducts children, and he eats them. And he kills them, they go missing, and people can't find out why. Now there's a lot more to this story, but I don't want to give it away if you've never seen it. This is a long movie. It actually was a TV movie that was done in 2 parts. But this movie I could talk about forever. This is this movie has changed me. Pennywise is insane, and if anybody wants to know, yes, I am very excited for the new It. I can't wait to see how they do it, because I've heard that the new It is going to be more towards the book, and I am currently reading the book right now. If you've never seen It, give it a chance, you guys. I will say this though, I'm going to say this up front, I'm going to be honest with you guys. If you grew up with this movie, you love it. If you didn't grow up and you're in the younger generation, I don't see you guys liking it as much. I see more people around my age or older watching it for the first time and really enjoying it, but the younger generation, I don't know, it's hard to say, but I want to hear from you guys. Do you guys like it? Now here is my #1 favorite Stephen King movie of all time, and this movie has been a part of my life since I can remember, guys. I remember watching this movie when I was like 7 or 8 years old. Came out in the early 90s. There's a little hint for you. My parents loved this movie. Anytime it was on TV, it was always on in the background. I remember my mom quoting it all the time. My dad actually tape recorded it on a VHS, and we watched it over and over, would wear it out and re-record it. This movie means so much to me, and that movie is The Shawshank Redemption. Like I said, you guys, I was about 7 or 8 years old when I remember watching this, and I remember being a little bit older after seeing it a few times. At the very end, my favorite scene is when the warden throws the rock through the poster and he rips the poster out because they're trying to look for Andy Dufresne, played by Tim Robbins. That moment, I used to remember going to my mom saying, "Mom," because I didn't want to sit through the whole thing because I didn't have patience, and this is a little bit of a longer movie. Well, for me at the time it was. Saying, "Mom, when the part comes on, call for me," and she would yell, and I would run downstairs and I would be amazed. And that moment still gives me chills. This movie made me fall in love with Stephen King. It made me fall in love with movies. It's so much more than just a movie to me. This is one of the, I remember introducing this movie to Jess, and she loves it now. This is our go-to movie. As you guys know, Lucky Number 11 is our go-1, if that makes any sense. But this movie is just all around awesome. I love prison movies. It set the bar really high for prison escape movies. I could go on and talk about this movie for days. It got me hooked on Morgan Freeman. I was always fascinated by his voice when I was younger. So anytime I would hear his voice, because I wasn't really good with actors and stuff back then, I would say, "Oh, there's Red. There's Red." It's just everything about this movie. It moves you. It plays with your emotions. It's awesome. It's so well written. It's so good. Tim Robbins, Morgan Freeman is amazing in it. It's one of my all-time favorite movies, but it is definitely my favorite Stephen King movie. I do have this book. I read a little bit of it. I have a tendency to do that with books, but this movie is fantastic, and I'm sure a lot of you people have seen it. It's classic. It's a well-known classic. So there you have it, guys. There's my top 5 Stephen King movies. Once again, thank you to everyone who voted, who participated in it. It was a lot of fun. If you guys have any more suggestions for future What's Up Doc videos, I will definitely be putting them in future polls. I will also recycle some of the topics as well, because I know a lot of people want me to talk about thumbnails, how to make easy thumbnails, video editing software, setups, things like that. But don't forget, guys, I will always be putting them up on Twitter and Instagram, so keep a lookout on there. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'll throw my links up here. Thank you guys so much for joining me on another What's Up Doc. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, click that thumbs up. Lets me know you're enjoying my content. If you're new to my channel and you like movies as much as I do, click that subscribe button. I'm always looking for more people to talk movies with. And as always, everybody, take care and happy watching.